Hare Krishna. Welcome to the audio devotees in today's session of the secrets of Bhagavad-Gita. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So today we are going to discuss Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, text number 28. Let us start. Avyaktaadini bhutani vyaktamadhyani bharata avyakta nidhananyeva tatra ka paridevana. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Translation: all created beings are unmanifest in their beginning, manifest in their interim state, and unmanifest again when annihilated. So, what need is there for lamentation? Purport: accepting that there are two classes of philosophers, one believing in the existence of the soul and the other not believing in the existence of the soul, there is no cause for lamentation in either case. So, this is a continuation from the previous verse. In the previous verse, Jata se dhruvo mrityu dhruvam jana mritasya. The argument was that if Arjuna thinks that whoever gets birth is going to die and whoever dies is sure to get birth, then the natural conclusion is that the symptoms of life appear and disappear on their own accord, even if there is God who is controlling it, or there is no God who is not controlling, but somehow that is going on, just for the argument's sake. Then also there is absolutely no need for lamentation on part of Arjuna, because the symptoms of life uh, with respect to Bhishma, Drona, and Arjuna's relatives on the opposite side are going to appear again in due course of time. So, anyway, there is not going to be loss of life in any case. So, uh, neglecting one's duty as a Kshatriya is not a good idea, because that would set a very bad example in the society of improper Kshatriya who gives up his duty for a very insignificant cause. So that is the scene here. Next, non-believers are atheists by followers. Non-believers in the existence of the soul are called atheists by followers of Vedic wisdom. So, who are those atheists? So, uh, there are a variety of atheists in today's society, but uh, traditionally, uh, these are some of the traditional class of people who do not believe in the existence of soul as we believe. So they are Buddhas, the followers of Buddhas, and followers of Jainism. So they may have s- some sort of concept of soul, but exactly it is not the same as we think. So, and there are many others in the uh, Western countries. There are philosophers who somehow do not accept the existence of the soul for their own particular reasoning. So, if we take any logic, then also uh, not believing in soul does not make any sense, because uh, if we believe that just because we are not able to see that particular soul element with our naked eye. If that is the cause of our reasoning, that we do not believe in soul, then there could be so many things that we cannot see, and we can't simply uh, not believe in those things just because we are not able to access them. So it's a very faulty logic. So logically, we should not come to this conclusion that there is no soul. If we just accept that we are not able to see this soul, so what? But on the other hand, we also have this feeling of ever existing, even within the same body. We change. Sorry, in the same existence, we change so many material bodies: childhood body, youth body, old body, and still we remain the same personality. So it's more logical to conclude that we change bodies, but still the feeling of me remains the same. So uh, logic actually favors uh, uh, our very scriptures, but somehow the some people, because they have some their personal agenda or something, so somehow that they do not come to this same conclusion, say, or they may uh, accept the existence of soul in some different way, but not exactly the way we see it. So that may be their own limitations. So let us see how it goes. Yet, even if for argument's sake we accept this atheistic theory, there is still no cause for lamentation. Why? Apart from the separate existence of the soul, the material elements remain unmanifested before creation. From this subtle state of non manifestation comes manifestation, just as from ether, air is generated from air, fire is generated from fire, water is generated, and from water, earth becomes manifested. From the earth, many varieties of manifestation takes place. So here, Srila Prabhupada first, for the argument's sake, accept that even if someone thinks that there is no existence of soul, it is only for the argument's sake, not in reality. But still, there is no cause for lamentation, because uh, the material elements which we see, uh, they uh, in the beginning they remain unmanifested. Somehow or other they come into existence, and we see life, and once again after death they become unmanifest. So all the material elements, particularly earth, water, fire, either air, so they remain in unmanifested in the beginning, then they come together and form a particular body, or somehow that we see symptoms of life in that, and after some time uh, there is a death to this body, and all the material elements, they get uh, re-merged again their natural sources. So considering this phenomena, that anyway the symptoms of life in the beginning was in an unmanifested, then it becomes manifest, then after sometimes it becomes unmanifest. So for the argument's sake, there is no cause for lamentation in this case, because life will uh, again and again appear before us, and it will keep disappearing before us. So that's the logical part. Prabhupada is giving a very simple example here. Take, for example, a big skyscraper manifested from the earth. When it is dismantled, the manifestation becomes again unmanifested and remains as atoms in the ultimate stage. So before building the skyscraper building, the elements like bricks and all these things, they remain in a very isolated manner. And if you go in a depth, then all basically these are all earth, water, fire, ether, and air. All these elements, uh, they are separated. Um, they remain separated, and after we combine them and give them shape, then they come into manifest stage. And when we dismantle the building, the skyscraper building, then again they go back to their original state. So this is the situation with one ordinary skyscraper building. So we can apply the same logic with our own material body, which is also a creation. So that's the point. The law of conservation of energy remains, but in course of time, things are manifested and unmanifested. That is the difference. So, law of conservation of energy. We have heard it many times. At least those who have gone to school, they may have heard this particular principle. Law of conservation of energy. So, energy always remain around us. It may change its shape, but it never gets lost. It may appear to be lost before our eyes, but actually it does not get lost anytime. So, for example, water, when we hit the water may take the shape of steam and it may disappear before eyes. However, the fact is that it the water still remains in the form of uh, uh, small air particles, or in the steam, in the form of steam. So if we somehow control the temperature, or um, bring the temperature down of that particular steam, then once again we can uh, have water. So uh, by this example, we can see that energy always remains in the universe around us, and it may take different shapes. So the same things we can apply for our existence, that when we see something is moving around us, so it is a particular shape of energy. And when the things do not move around us, should not lead us to conclude that now that particular thing which was moving is no longer exists. So that is the point which you should understand by this example. It is simply a conservation of energy rule. So uh, logically also we can see that how science of soul can be explained. So the thing which was moving, call it soul or anything, so still that particular thing was existing and will always exist in some form of another. So at least from our so-called limited experience or experiments, we can deduce that the symptoms of life will always be there. So uh, we may not able to appreciate that life, or appreciate that form the way we appreciated it before. However, the fact remains the same. It's simply a change of energy. The energy has got converted itself into something else. Uh, so Prabhupada gives us different examples just to make us understand that Arjun's dilemma was actually uh, unwarranted. It was unreasonable, because uh, any learned person can easily understand that laws of life actually does not really matter when it comes to following one's duty. Because it's not that we encourage anyone to just go on killing someone unnecessarily. That is not the point. But when it comes to duty, it is accepted that these things will uh, come alone, and we have to face that reality, and we have to be mature in knowledge that uh, the symptoms of life will always uh, appear in our world, and that should not give any uh, reason to neglect our duty. Here, the emphasis is on neglecting our duty. So we should never neglect our duty given by God. So that is the point. Next, then what cause is there for lamentation either in the stage of manifestation or in unmanifestation? Somehow or other, even in the unmanifested stage, things are not lost. Simple. Both at the beginning and at the end, all elements remain unmanifested, and only in the middle are they manifested. And this does not make any real material difference. So, material point of view, that is not actually different because it's just our perception, right? Uh, Before something did not come into manifest stage, we thought that it never existed. That was simply our perception. When it came into existence and we could see it, we could perceive it, when we call it life. And now, when it goes lost to our eyes, we call it death. However, it's simply uh, a terminology based on our own perception. It is not the reality. The reality is that energy always existed. That is the point. So, why uh, a person who understands this logic would lament for loss of life? Because he is lamenting for his own perception, right? It's like, uh, like children. Children, they cry for even some insignificant loss because they think that it's their everything. So, uh, so Arjun's lamentation, actually, it is in one sense it is childish because he was uh, because his own weakness of heart, he is taking the loss of his relatives too seriously, as if his relatives are always going to be with him in the same form which he is able to see them. So that is not possible anyway. So these instructions from Bhagavad Gita are not meant to encourage any atheistic philosophy or any atheistic thoughts. However, it is meant to convince Arjuna or anyone who is like Arjuna in a confused state. So, and he should understand that uh, neglecting one's duty for such temporary loss is not reasonable because we may have material attachment to certain things, certain environment, but ultimately we have to understand the reality. We have to see the reality with our naked eyes. That things do not work as we think. We are not the controllers, and the uh, the law of energy conservation will always act. So we can give solace to ourselves that anyway, our relatives, uh, our existing relatives, or our past relatives, or our future relatives, they are always going to be there. So there is no point of lamentation over their loss. So that does not mean we should be emotionless. We should have emotions. But what about emotions for our past relatives, relatives of our past life, relatives of our futures? So just because we are not able to see them does not mean that they won't be or they were not. So in any case, uh, we should not lament or such Child is perception. So perception does matter, but it should not be childish. For child, even a loss of little toy is a great thing. But mature person do not take it seriously because they know it is childish. So similarly, Arjun or anyone who is in such a confused state should understand that he should not be lamenting over such insignificant things, and instead of lamenting, he should focus on his prescribed duty given in Vedas. So it's not that we have to carry out any duty, but we have to carry out duty given us, given to us by God, Lord Shri Krishna, because uh, that will actually make us happy, and that will make everyone happy. So that's the point why Lord Shri Krishna urges Arjuna to follow his duty. Following the duty in and of itself is not the uh, highest instructions of Bhagavad Gita. One should not mistakenly conclude that, yes, just do your duty. That's the perfection. No, that is not the point. Here, the duty given to Arjuna was a sacred duty, and God has given this duty, and it is uh, God's or Lord Shri Krishna's arrangement that we follow His orders to be happy and to make everyone happy, and that is His plan. So we have to understand Lord Krishna's plan or God's plan and act accordingly. So that is the conclusion. Otherwise, there are many people who follow so many uh, so-called duties, but that really does not make any sense. Suppose if someone is working in a slaughterhouse, what do you call about their duty? Does that make any sense? So that's not the point. We cannot create any artificial duties and say, yes, God has given me this duty. So God has not given you that particular duty to kill so many innocent animals. Come on. So we cannot just create any so-called duties. The duty must be sacred and it should come from God, because God is holy. Everyone knows this and everyone accept this. And whatever instructions or order given by God or Lord Shri Krishna is meant for our ultimate benefit, our shreyas. So obedient servants or obedient children, they always follow their father. So that is the point here. Next, and if we accept the very conclusion as stated in Bhagavad Gita that these material bodies are perishable in due course of time, antamanta ime dehaha, but that the soul is eternal, nityasyukta sharirinaha, then we must remember always that the body is like a dress. Therefore, why lament the changing of a dress? The material body has no factual existence in relation to the eternal soul. So now we again coming to Bhagavad Gita. So there are very clear instructions about soul. There is a statement Nityasya Ukta Sharirinaha. Nityasya Ukta Sharirinaha. Sharirinaha, those who possess body, that means spirit souls, they always eternal. Nityasya. And Antamanta Emedeya. And regarding material body, the statement is they are perishable. So these are very clear distinction between material bodies and spirit souls. So uh, from the Vedic point of view, anyway, there is no any point of lamentation for changing of a dress, because body is like a dress. It is something like a dream. In a dream, we may think of flying in the sky or sitting on a chariot as a king. But when we wake up, we can see that we are neither in the sky nor sitting on the chariot. So in a dream, we may create our own world. We may become the king of our own world. But after all, it's a dream. It's not a reality. So, uh, having accepted this material existence, we may create our own ideas of uh, relatives and we may form different occupation or identities, and uh, it may work well as long as the practical dealings are concerned. However, we should not be identifying ourselves, our real self, with these identifications or uh, these uh, material attachments. So, if we uh, do that, then uh, that would be considered as something unintelligent, because that is simply ignorance, that we are identifying ourselves with something which is temporary, and we are not temporary, we are eternal. So both things do not go together. We are eternal, bodies are temporary. So why to identify eternal ourselves with the temporary material bodies? So that does not make any sense. Next, the Vedic wisdom encourages self-realization on the basis of non-existence of the material body. Non-existence of the material body, because material body may appear before us for some time, but actually it will disappear in due course of time, because that's the nature of any material thing. It uh, uh, it gets birth, it survives for some time, and then it gets uh, it decays, and it perishes after some time. So uh, that's why it is called non-existence of the material body. The material body is not going to be there in front of our eyes for a long time, and that is why it is imperative for everyone to inquire about the eternal, the spirit soul. So that is the instruction of Bhagavad-Gita. Therefore, in either case, whether one believes in the existence of the soul or one does not believe in the existence of the soul, there is no cause for lamentation for those of the body. Because anyway, as being eternal, we are supposed to take interest in eternal spirit souls. We should not be caring for material bodies unnecessarily. So we have to care for material bodies as long as we have these material bodies. However, we simply just cannot uh, get absorbed in such temporary things, because that's not our eternal existence. And even from the atheistic point of view, just for the sake of argument, if you accept that there is no soul, then also the symptoms of life will come and go time and again. So there is no point of lamentation in either case. So that's the conclusion. Okay, I will stop here. If is there any question we can take, or else we can conclude here. Vivek, Pro, any questions so far? It seems no questions. Okay, we'll stop here. वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. Srimad Bhagavad Gita की जय, श्रील Prabhupada की जय. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining this class. Hare Krishna. Thank you.